So, hello everyone. This is the All Black Everything Roundtable, which we have Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern. We have a small group of guests now, which will hopefully be growing soon, but we'll see. But I'm excited to get started with them. If you watch this on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. Consider becoming a YouTube member, hitting that join button, supporting us that way. All right, so let's go to our first guest, D10 Dream. Dream, back with us again. How are you, friend?
I'm great, man. How about you, man?
Doing all right. Yeah, it's been I feel like, oh, you were here the other week with your girlfriend. Actually, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
She wanted to come this week too, but her birthday was yesterday, so she's still celebrating in Florida right now.
Happy birthday to your girl. Yeah, I hope she's having a good time then. Yeah, we'll definitely have her in the future if she wants to be on.
Yeah, she wants to come, and she says in 2 weeks she wants to come.
Okay. Shout out to Zonia Dead. Zonia Dead, thank you for the 14-month resub. Zonia Dead's another really kind supporter of this community. Thank you, Zonia Dead. Hope you're having a good one. I'm sorry, I'm getting some background noise. Some feedback. Popping up. All right, we'll figure it out. Okay, moving on. We got my man Joe Lewis. We got goddamn VIP here, Joe Lewis. Thank you for being here. Haven't had you here in a bit, actually. How are you?
Yeah, no, I'm doing well. Yeah, glad to be here. Thursdays are kind of tricky now, but I had some time today, so yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Okay. All right. Yeah. It's always a little treat when we have Joe Lewis here. So I'm excited to talk to him. Okay. Next we have well, we did have there he is. Coffee Politics, brand new individual to this to our panels here, our closed panel. They stopped by the open panel a few days ago and decided to invite them. Coffee Politics, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing fine. Is my mic still muted actually, or
No, we can't.
No.
Okay, yeah. I'm doing fine. I'm really glad to join this panel. So I think the topics are really interesting. So can't wait to talk about them.
Okay, all right. Finally, we have Isle of Isles, who was also here doing an open panel, and came through and put up a good fight. We love that. A person who disagrees with the rest of us. And so I hit them up, and yeah, happy to have them around. So Isle, how are you?
I'm doing fine. I had to leave early last time because, I was doing the poll working for the primary in New York, but I'm really glad to be here, and hopefully I'll be able to stay the whole time. And, with this abortion discussion, I'm like really happy to have it because, I think I'm like the yin to your yang on that. So, we'll see how the discussion continues.
We love it. All right, let's do it. Okay, first topic. Following Roe v. Wade being overturned, the conservative justices on the Supreme Court have received heavy criticism on social media. Clarence Thomas, especially, has been roundly derided. As Samuel L. Jackson took to Twitter to imply that Thomas was an Uncle Tom. Do you think this is a fair characterization? Can a black man have conservative beliefs without being an Uncle Tom? Or does anyone who advances that ideology deserve that level of criticism? So yeah, Clarence Thomas, who I have all kinds of feelings about, is being attacked for the stances that he's been taking. I mean, literally his entire legal career. But is this a special type of attack? Is it going too far, calling him an Uncle Tom? And in case you don't know what that is, it's a possibility. It's like a black person who is perceived to be subservient to like white authority, to actively assist in white supremacy, honestly, or to be doing it for profit or anything like that. So yeah, sellout, basically. This is what we're saying. So is that a fair characterization of Clarence Thomas? We'll start with our friend D10 Dream.
Well, it is not a fair characterization because number one, there's so many black conservatives out there that would be pro-life. So he's just a black conservative that's pro-life. So calling him Uncle Tom doesn't really make sense with the race argument, especially when he said, "How does Uncle Clarence feel about Loving versus Virginia?" Because Loving versus Virginia is about thinking that ruling that interracial marriage is okay, and he's in an interracial marriage himself. So obviously he would be fine with that. So it just doesn't really make sense. I think you could critique him in different ways, saying how, he's maybe anti-woman. That would make more sense. But making this a race thing doesn't make sense because a lot of black people would agree with Clarence Thomas. It's this abortion thing is not a race thing. It's a gender thing. Sex thing. I really don't think it's a race thing because there's a lot of black conservatives. A lot. Maybe not out there publicly, but maybe closeted conservatives. A lot of black conservatives.
Thank you for saying that, Dream, because then it gives me an excuse to fight you. All right. We'll move on to our friend Joe Lewis.
Yeah, I mean, Clarence Thomas, because he's a Supreme Court judge, will be put in positions where he might have to vote in favor of precedent, like the president with this current Supreme Court ruling that could overturn Loving v. Virginia, because Loving v. Virginia was not based on the rights of citizens, because we believe that black people should be able to marry white people is on the basis of privacy. So any argument that was on the basis of privacy is on the table, including Loving v. Virginia. And then despite that, we still don't have laws, practices, policies, and procedures that explicitly allow for interracial marriage. And sure, the Supreme Court is able to interpret rights that don't exist within the Constitution, but this is the first time in the Supreme Court's history, at least as far as I know, where rights were explicitly taken away from citizens. And yeah, so if there's a case that's brought forth that is making a privacy argument that's in contradiction to the one that was recently brought forth, then yeah, you could see a situation where Loving v. Virginia is overturned. And that's kind of the situation that Clarence Thomas signed him up to be in. Which is why, I think if you are a judge or wanting to be a Supreme Court judge, you kind of have to put that in your calculus. So Clarence Thomas, as a black American, might be put into a situation where things that aren't overtly protected through law are potentially stripped. And that's a situation that could happen to any minority who's in the position of Supreme Court justice. If you're gay, gay, straight, man, woman, you might be put in a situation where certain things, because of the unwillingness of the government to solidify these things in the law, like Roe v. Wade, you're going to be put in situations like this, and this is your career. So while I do think Samuel Jackson is kind of reaching, and it's a little weird of a reach, he's not far off in saying that black people, especially black politicians, black judges, are going to be put into situations that might take a step back on civil rights and liberties. But that's what they signed up for being a judge,
Thank you for that. All right, let's move on to coffee politics.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's several angles you could go with this, right? Okay, so is Clarence Thomas and Uncle Tom? Because he did overturn, or if Samuel L. Jackson is right for him overturning Loving v. Virginia, then I will say yes, he is indeed an Uncle Tom. However, is he a bad person for being against Roe v. Wade, or is he an Uncle Tom for being against Roe v. Wade? I definitely think he's not. So I think I think Clarence Thomas should have his own opinions, and I respect him for that. I mean, I also believe that I personally believe that Roe v. Wade should have been overturned myself. So I think people should have their own opinions. So not much I can say for that, but I'm sure there's a lot to debate. So
Okay. All right. Next we have Isle. Isle, please.
You're muted, Isle.
Yep.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can. Thank you.
So, yeah, I agree with some of the stuff that's already been said. As the public figure, you're opened up to scrutiny by the public. Do I think that, calling someone who is an African American conservative an Uncle Tom or any associated derisive slur or moniker, I don't think that's appropriate. I think that's crass, and I think that's just you know, just a telling of Samuel L. Jackson's character that he would do that. But I think he has every right to do that if that's what he feels. Um, on the matter of Roe versus Wade, where this is came into place, I think that Roe versus Wade should have been kept up as the law of the land. I am someone who is more pro-life, but I believe that since we live in a secular constitutional republic, that we should have compromises, and I think that Roe versus Wade was the perfect compromise of this situation. So I disagree with Thomas in his opinions and his decision to ultimately overturn Roe versus Wade, but I respect him as the oldest serving member of this current configuration of the Supreme Court. He's the second African American to hold the office as a Supreme Court justice. So I think he's like a historical figure, and I think that that's in and of itself worthy of respect. Although I disagree with him on many things.
Hey, our friend Jay Cook has just arrived. Thanks for being here, Jay Cook. We've always are excited to have her around. So yeah, thanks for being around. Jay Cook, please introduce yourself, and then the first topic.
Yeah, I'll be quick. My name is Jay Cook Sonata. I'm a variety game streamer on Twitch. Yeah, that's it. In this case, I do think it's a fair characterization. Not just based on my beliefs, I am pro-choice, but also just based on the context of how this decision came to be. It's pretty hypercritical in my opinion. Sorry, am I getting feedback?
Yeah. It might be you. I'm not positive, but it might be you. Try by keeping yourself muted when you're not talking, Isle.
Okay.
It might be you. And if you have headphones, that'll help. But okay. Let's keep going, please.
Yeah. I don't think it's like not every conservative black man is an Uncle Tom. I think that's a far stretch and pretty outrageous to make that claim. I don't know if I don't think I heard that so far. But I do think he's responsible for this. He deserves this level of criticism.
Okay. All right. Let's go to a new challenger who's arrived, right? If someone who I've had here for forever, and I've
an OG.
And my man Pyro Tyrant. Pyro Tyrant, who's often is busy. He's got like work stuff, So
Bro, I have like 3 jobs now. It's fucking horrible.
Oh my god, yeah. But we're happy that you could spend some time with us. So Pirate, please. Pyro. Pyro Pirate, I think is maybe you should consider that one. Pyro, please.
Yeah, when it comes to calling fucking Clarence Thomas Uncle Tom, shit like that. I don't necessarily know how I feel about instantly jumping to such a, a racial name when I could just call him every type of a piece of shit in the book, bro. Like he's camel shit, he's dog shit, horse shit, pig shit. I don't know why I have to jump to Uncle Tom, but like understanding where people are coming from, I think Joe laid it out kind of best, but like I'll clarify a little bit. When he took this stance, like overturning a right that wasn't exactly codified in the Constitution, he opened himself up to these criticisms because there's going to be a lot of black people, specifically like Whoopi Goldberg, Samuel L. Jackson, and a lot more people who aren't going to get notoriety for their comments that are going to look at this and be like, yo, what about the shit that pertains to us that happened in the 70s that's not technically, codified as a right? Are we just going to stand by and let that happen? Because that's where it seems like Clarence is going with this shit.
All right.
He's a piece of shit, though.
I'll give my opinion on this. Clarence Thomas is absolutely an Uncle Tom. I love it. Thank you, Samuel L., for leading the way. All right, Samuel L. is always at the forefront of these things. Yes, thank you. Call him out. Call him out for what he is. What is the difference? What is the difference between Clarence Thomas and fucking Candace Owens, right? Like Uncle Tom in Chief, Clarence Owens, or yeah. What's the difference between them? The difference between is Clarence has power. Like he can actually enact his will. So while Candace Owens can only have a talk show and say the most vile things about black people, right, to her white audience for profit, Clarence Thomas can actually implement those things into law, or to case law at least, but ends up being the same thing. So yeah, I love it that people are calling this man now like historical figure. Who gives a fucking shit, right? Yeah, like he was the first black man in the Supreme Court to sell us down the river. Wow, it's so beautiful. I can't wait to tell my children that, right, when he puts us back in fucking bondage. But he's a horrible person. He's dog shit, and we should call him out. And Uncle Tom is more than appropriate to do so. All right, open.
I think when it comes to Clarence Thomas, he might be Uncle Tom for other things, for other reasons that I'm not really well read about that. But for this particular reason, for anti-abortion, I don't think that's a race. Oh, if he's anti-abortion, he's Uncle Tom. Because if that's the case, there's a bunch of Uncle Toms that's black people.
No, it's
not
just
missing the point. Yeah,
it's not just for this case.
Okay,
it's just that he's being hit with this case. So
that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying, if Samuel L. Jackson is calling Clarence Thomas Uncle Tom for other reasons, then okay, cool. But to call him Uncle Tom for this reason, this doesn't make any logical sense to me personally. Now, to go off what Joe was talking about, how this case opens up for other cases based on privacy, sure, but I really don't think Loving versus Virginia applies, because when it comes to Roe v. Wade, it's about, it's a very like hot topic issue about like, is it a life? When is it a life? Can we kill future human lives? Right? That's a very hot topic. When it comes to when it comes to like just marry who you want, and if it's consensual, then yeah, right. So the issue with like abortion is that the fetus that's being killed can't consent. But when it comes to people getting married, those are two consenting human beings, right? So that's why I think, even if it went to trial, Loving versus Virginia, which I really don't think it will, it's very, very clear cut and case that it's the privacy issue is not an issue here. That it will apply, and it's still going to stand as you can marry whoever you want. When it comes to abortion, it's more hot topic. So even if it was going to trial, I don't think it'll be overturned, because it's pretty much cut and clear that you can do whatever you want when it's consenting.
All the cases that were based on privacy are on the table. So
even if they are,
we can recognize that Loving v. Virginia is on the table, and this moralization that you think it's not going to happen. I mean, it's cute to go to bed and think like that, but it's on the table. And if we understand that it's on the table, then it's up for the government to legislate that it's no longer on the table.
But so the chances are it won't.
What do you think's faster? The government making a decision that overtly says that people can marry whoever they want regardless of their race? Do you think that's like faster than the Supreme Court saying that this is going to be overturned? Like, which one do you think is faster?
I don't think
or
it
do you think
matters.
is more?
I think neither are likely. That's what I'm saying.
Is there wait? So do you don't think it's possible for the United States government to make a law federally that
everything's
permits?
possible? Everything's possible. I said likely for a reason.
But do you think that do you think interracial marriage is popular in the United States?
Yep.
Yes.
Do you believe that it's popular? So
I'll take it. Like, yeah, absolutely.
So,
comparative to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So if you believe it to be popular, do you think it's popular so much so that the United States government, as it's currently constructed, cannot make a federal law making it a right for citizens to marry, regardless of their race?
I don't think that they will ban interracial marriage.
No, I'm not saying the ban interracial marriage. I'm saying to put it in the law explicitly that
To
And
say
that we can. It's a
we
right.
can.
Like
Yeah.
100%.
Why would they
Why
need
would
to?
they- you don't need. First of all, you don't need rights to tell you what to do.
I mean,
don't.
tell that to the people in the states right now. Complain like just throwing
Oh.
a fucking fit.
You don't know.
because
I'm
Roe
saying
v.
this-
Wade just
this-
got overturned. Yeah,
mean,
you
like,
kind of do.
it's
I mean,
written-
if you want
it's
to
written-
practice that,
it's-
if you want to practice that shit in the states where they might be a little bit fucky on, you kind of do need the
Like-
federal government to be like, yeah, citizens can fucking do this.
No,
Like,
no,
if
I'm
in
saying, like, I don't
Tennessee
need-
and
I
they
don't need a
say,
law
yo,
sa-
blacks can't marry whites, and then they
I'm saying I don't
enforce
need a
that
law-
shit, I'm in trouble.
You don't need a law that says, "Hey, you have the right to buy a PlayStation 5." Like that specifically.
I mean, God
Yeah,
damn, that'd be a good one.
There's there's
You know what
also
I'm
no
saying?
right that says that you have a right to marry someone, right? Like there's just implied rights that we have, and
Yeah.
Yes, and this
Yeah.
is the first time that an implied right was taken away from people. So if an
well,
implied right
it wasn't necessarily an
no.
implied right. It was
an
it was
implied
into law.
an implied right for an abortion was taken away from citizens, and now all the other implied rights that were argued on privacy are on the table.
But it was in conflict with another right, right? So the conflict with
Yeah, and we
abortion-
had
no,
we had
but there's no
Sure.
conflict. What right are people going against when we ban or when we allow for interracial marriage? That
Mhm.
interracial marriage is not going against any other person's rights. But when you allow for abortion, it could be argued that you're going against somebody else's rights, the fetus's right to live. That's why it makes logical sense that this could be overturned just for privacy reasons. There's other good arguments that could go to court and then it will later be allowed to have abortion federally. You just need better arguments than the right to privacy.
So
But
why?
all
So
the other
like,
cases-
all
So hold
I'm
on.
saying,
So
all I'm
what I'm
trying to say, all I'm trying to say is that maybe it's possible.
Of course,
that
it's possible.
I know I'm saying maybe it's possible that Congress can come together and instead of waiting for the Supreme Court to decide, they can just make a law that's just the law of the land, as opposed to just sitting on their laurels and then getting butt fucked by a Supreme Court decision. You know,
Well, it's
They
not
can-
like I won't even like because I understand what you're saying, Joe. But like just to break it down, it's not even like they're sitting on their laurels. They're relying on this court case, and like we're using the example of like interracial marriage. Well, what about fucking Obergefell versus Hodges, the fucking gay rights case, right? What if they decide to come after that? Because that was one of the ones listed where Clarence Thomas was like, "Yo, we might need to look at this." What about that? There's shit that when he says that, it not only means he's talking about these the Roe v. Wade case, it implies that he's talking about other cases that, like Joe Lewis is trying to say, aren't codified rights by the federal government. I understand what you guys are saying, where you're like, yo, it's just a bunch of like rights they put down on a paper. There's nothing actually stopping you, but like, yeah, there is. If the state decided tomorrow that, yo, PS5s are just off the market because they have explosive chemicals in them and they recall every PS5 and shit, and then I want to buy a PS5, I'm gonna have a hard fucking time. I live in New York State. I can use that example with guns. When New York State says, yo, you have to go through all of these fucking hoops and, flips and backwards walks to get a fucking gun, guess what? That fucking impacts me. I want a gun. I cannot get one.
But you see how those
recently they overchanged that shit, but like I gotta race against the state.
Everything you just said, you provided a good reason for like the argument. Why are we, limiting guns? Because they can kill a lot of people. Why are we gonna ban PS5s? Because they have dangerous batteries that can explode. but there's no reasonable argument to ban interracial marriage to disallow that.
Neither does
Please name me one.
You're a logical person.
No, name me one.
No, but the point that we're trying to make is that like
that would hold up in court.
No, we don't know that because
we absolutely know that.
No,
The point isn't that we know.
You can't make it analogous. You can't make abortion and interracial analogous just because they share the same clause, but the clause applies differently.
Okay. So let me see if I'm understanding this very clearly.
Abortion is they have a good reason for it to be banned, which is it conflicts with the right of the fetus, right? And you can make the argument that fetuses don't have rights. You can make that, which is a good argument. But at least there's a different side. But when it comes to interracial marriage, when it's this, you're not going against any other person's rights. It's consenting two consenting adults. The fetus can't consent, right? So that's the conflict there. There's no conflict with interracial marriage when it's consensual. So I'm not seeing the argument where, oh yeah, it could be. I mean, anything's hypothetically possible, right? So yeah, of course. But the likelihood of ever happening with Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade was a likelihood term because we're split on interracial. We're split on abortion as a country.
Well,
we don't, half of us want it, half of us don't. But when it comes to interracial marriage, I really don't. Do you have the stat that half of America don't like interracial marriage? I don't.
The point I'm trying to make is that why the fuck are we waiting to see statistics if you believe something to be popular? And I'm saying explicitly, this is not a guarantee. There is nothing in the books that's saying that like dating, like marriage, like restrict the restriction of marriage based on race. There's no law that's saying that, like federally, that's saying like you cannot prohibit this action. And I'm saying that, hey, we shouldn't wait. We shouldn't wait. If we believe this is something
that's reasonable, sure,
we should write it in, make it a law.
I thought you were saying something else.
No, I'm saying, and don't wait for the Supreme Court to just like make a decision that could overturn it. That's why we got into the same situation with Roe, because legislatively, abortion wasn't popular, and it's still not popular. And despite that, like you still have situations where you have politicians saying we must codify it in the law, and it's like, okay, Democrats, hold on, let me vote harder. I'm voting so hard blue right now. Can you feel it? Can you feel me voting so blue?
It's like an episode of DBZ, right? The power up takes like 50 fucking years to codify into law, and by the time they actually do it, the Republicans already had their way with it.
Yeah, like what's like, and now we're in a situation where it's like, okay, Democrats, balls in your court. We voted blue no matter who, and Roe's gone. What are you gonna do? Make a law?
I do think that's a law now. That's a good strategy, Joe. That's a good strategy. They should have already federally allowed for abortion, right? Instead of just allow the courts to decide, and now the states have this, have the decision. And so, like, I don't think anybody would be like, no, don't put that interracial marriage allowance law in there. Like, I do think that's a good idea. Just put it in just to ensure. Yeah, why not?
And then like you can, and that's like my point, is that you can just like, instead of making these big giant bills to have all these fucking things, you can just play the game of like, here's a single policy prescription. Here's a single bill. Let's vote on it. And then you'll see what happens. But the thing is that Republicans aren't stupid. They'll know what the game is. They'll see like, oh, because of all these arguments that are based on privacy, and now Democrats went too slow. But again, Democrats don't agree with this level of incrementalism. They'll want to make some giant bill that covers as many things as possible, so then they can go across the aisle and suck Republicans' dicks in private, and then call them villains in public. So I don't know. Like, everyone likes a bad boy, Joe. What do you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So Yama, if I ask this question, right? So I'm reading here a Gallup poll that says that. Because, okay, so if we're going to consider Clarence Thomas to be an Uncle Tom for being against Roe v. Wade, or...
No, they're not.
Not just that.
I'm saying it's a justification.
Yeah. It's the reason why, and it's not, multiple things. One, it's for his ruling on Roe v. Wade, how he ruled on it. That part's important, right? That part is very important. Not necessarily that he's against abortion. That's not like, a lot of black people are against abortion. That's a separate thing. And then it's his past rulings as well. All the things he's done there, but like not the fact that he's against abortion.
Yeah, but I'm just reading a Gallup poll right here that says that, like, 50% of black Democrats don't even agree with abortion, right? Or like even like black non-Democrats, like 66% of them don't agree with abortion. So it seems like most black people in America don't even agree with abortion. So it seems like, if anything, Clarence Thomas agrees with most black people in America.
But it's not what we're talking about. So it's
Yeah.
I don't care. I
unimportant.
don't give a fuck of what people believe. It's that it's possible that these people are making decisions that go against and hurt black communities. And like, if you are in fact pro-abortion, you can make the argument that you are actually hurting black communities. If we understand that I think it's like something, well, I think black women are the highest statistic of women who have abortions. So like, if we were to, and then like someone can fact check me on that if they'd like, but let's function. All right, let's function like it's true. Let's function like it's true. If that's the case, then what argument would you make to be pro-life in that case? If we're like, again, we can check the stat if we want to and then like clarify it. But for the functioning of this hypothetical, then if we're in a situation where abortions disproportionately affect black women the most, what is being pro-life mean in that case? And what would you do and what would your arguments be?
Are you talking to me or
just anyone who wants to answer? It's cool.
Wait,
well, I kind of want to go back to like what I was saying, right? Because you just said
what you're
that
saying was stupid, but we can do it. Okay.
Well, yeah. Oh, I mean, you said that his power is hurting black people, but he also stands with most black people. He's a representative, right?
But he's a representative.
He's a representative. He's okay. How is he a representative of black people? His wife is white.
Well, yeah, but I mean, regardless,
you want to make it weird? I can make it really weird if you want.
Well, his wife doesn't really matter. His wife doesher really matter about politics, right? Or I'm talking about like what policies he's pushing, right? The policy he's pushing overlines with most black people. So
no,
like cementing Trump in power. That policy.
Like cementing Trump in power.
Sorry.
I don't think Roe v. Wade and Uncle Tom has any relation to do with each other. It's just what I'm saying.
Do you think it's possible? Do you think it's okay? Let me make sure I'm understanding the floor here, because we might be functional before it doesn't exist. Do you believe that black people can navigate in a way that's against the interests of black people by and large? Do you think those type of people exist?
Mm-hmm.
What would you call them?
Well, if they willingly know that, like if they willingly know that they're actually hurting black people.
Sure, let's do it the willingly.
Yeah.
Let's go with the explicit.
Yeah. What about they would be an Uncle Tom, yeah.
So there'll be an Uncle Tom. What about the implicit ones?
The implicit ones, so like if they do not know
through their actions, their actions have the impact of hurting black people, even though they don't overtly.
Then yeah, they're not an Uncle Tom.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of black criminals, black thugs that, like, they hurt black people, but most people wouldn't really consider them an Uncle Tom. So.
Why do you think they wouldn't consider them an Uncle Tom?
Because they're not really consciously doing it. They're not saying, "Oh, I gotta hurt black people today," right? They're just doing it because they want to commit the crime.
Okay, so do you think that there's like another layer as to why people might hurt black people that might be important here? There's a reason why we call them Uncle Toms?
Yeah, they have to. They have to willingly know that, okay, I'm doing this because I hate black people.
More than that, a little bit further.
Okay, well, how about you tell me?
No, you're almost there.
Jacob's being a piece of shit, but I'll go out. Listen, she wants you to jump off the cliff. I want you to walk towards it.
Okay, so, well, tell me.
The thing that I'm assholes to both of y'all. Just let him give his explanation, bro. Like it's unfounded and it's like uncharitable.
Okay. This is true. All
right,
I'll stop.
I will not be mean to new people. Okay, that I do not.
No. You can be mean. It's fine.
That's true.
Give me all the heat.
Well, I guess like, do you think that there's like a type of a group of people that you might be catering to in your actions when these people are called Uncle Toms? Like,
wait,
maybe
what?
Like maybe people in power. Like maybe the reason why like people are called Uncle Toms is because of their like blind commitment to maintaining the status quo.
I don't think you should call anybody I don't think you should call anybody an Uncle Tom if they're not really if they're not really purposely doing it, right? If it's just like if they're subconsciously doing something, or they don't even understand what they're doing, like I don't understand what's the point of calling them an Uncle Tom. They're not truly an Uncle Tom.
I agree with like just throwing out names without like any justification. but it
Yeah.
appears like people are called Uncle Toms by their actions, regardless
Mhm.
of their complicit or otherwise. It seems like there's people out there who are willing to cater to the status quo, so much so that it could hurt their own communities.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just don't think that catering to the status quo necessarily makes you an Uncle Tom, right?
There it is.
Well, what if that status quo just like demonstrably hurts black people?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, if they're doing that, then yeah, they probably would be an Uncle Tom. Yeah.
Okay,
But at the same time,
So we got it.
Wait,
By
wait,
upholding
We
the
did it.
status quo.
Did it.
By upholding the status quo, which implicitly harms black people, we can call them an Uncle Tom, right?
no, explicitly harms black people.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So,
But-
then let me present a case to you. Okay.
But most
Let's
black
talk
people
about-
agree with them.
let's-
So I
charge it
don't
up.
No,
Charge
understand.
it up.
Hold on. Let's give you a case then, right? Let's talk about the Voting Rights Act. The Voting Rights Act, which Clarence Thomas himself has specifically weakened. He struck down Section 4 of the Voting Rights Act, him and the rest of the conservative cronies. This was in 2013. He helped strike that down. And
What did he strike?
Section
was
4,
it?
Section 4 of the Voting Rights Act.
Okay.
Yeah. So Section 4 of the Voting Rights Act, they struck that down. And I remember when this happened because it was not even a day afterwards. Basically, like what happened with Roe v. Wade happened then. Now we had states with like trigger laws that like the moment it went down, they put in restrictions, right, that hurt African Americans. And he said it was unneeded. And then also in a separate opinion, right, this is in 2009, dealing with the Voting Rights Act. So the court upheld Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act, right? They upheld Section 5, 8-1. The one who voted to get rid of it, that was Clarence Thomas. And he says, I just missed I missed this quote. It's somewhere in this article. I'm sorry, but it basically says that like it's up to Congress to decide if we even really need this anymore, right? If that are black people really being hurt by voter discrimination? That was Clarence Thomas. So please tell me this man is not Uncle Tom. Explain me.
Me? I mean, I agree.
The other conservative court members, they said that was a step too far. Clarence Thomas, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's an Uncle Tom, yeah, but I don't think Roe v. Wade has anything to do with it, so...
Oh my God! Why?
Yeah.
It's not just Roe v. Wade. Like we can explain, I can break it down for you, Barney style. But like we've already done that.
But that's the prompt, right? Like the prompt.
I made it very clear. No. What it says, the prompt says, is that with the striking down of Roe v. Wade, the conservative courts justices are getting a lot of heat, right? And then Samuel L. Jackson comes on, he makes a statement, right? But it's the impetus is because that this happened. But this ain't the only time people have called him an Uncle Tom, right? This is just because of this ruling. But it's his larger judicial background. That's why his body of work is why people call him that. Not because of one fucking ruling that people, oh yeah, I guess I don't like Clarence Thomas. It's his entire tenure on the court.
Hey, Coffee.
Like every time someone opens his mouth about a ruling, people call him an Uncle Tom because surprise, surprise, dog shit just falls out. Like I wouldn't be surprised either. But
hey, Coffee. Somebody was curious. Somebody was curious and it said like when you were talking about the Gallup poll, you were talking about black people, right? Black Americans thinking, not just Americans in general, right? Thinking that
specifically black Americans, yeah.
Right. And what can you cite the source? Do you have that link available?
Yeah. Where should I post it?
Post it in chat.
Okay. Just a Twitch chat?
Yeah.
Okay. We have our friend GSU Gambit who is here. Happy to have him. Thank you, my man, GSU Gambit. I reached out to him. He's been really busy, right? Over these past few weeks, so we haven't had a chance to have him around. So I'm utterly ecstatic to have him here today. GSU, introduce yourself to the audience and then your opinions on all this.
Yeah. So I'm GSU Gambit. Everybody probably already knows me, but yeah, I'm happy to be here, man. It's been very long time since I could stream, so very happy to be here. But on to the topic. So with Clarence Thomas, I'm not aware of some of the things. I heard you reference the Section 4 of the Voting Rights Act about like if you get to 6th grade, you must have the right to vote and things like that. But I'm not familiar with a lot of his background. So it'd be interesting to hear some of the things that y'all do call out. But in general, yeah, I don't think just because somebody is conservative that makes them Uncle Tom at all. I think the definition that Cook and Joe kind of sort of went through there, like upholding the status quo despite it definitely hurting Black people. I think that's a pretty close working definition that we can use. So yeah, if y'all could explain that a little bit more, maybe he is. I'm not aware of stuff. I thought like what Coffee said. I thought y'all were using Roe v. Wade to like justify that. But if there are other things, yeah, for sure, I would love to hear.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay. So, are you familiar with the Mexico City policy?
Mexico City policy, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I'm very familiar with it.
You familiar with it? All right, so like for those of you who don't know, it's the gag rule, and basically what it is, it blocks federal funding to NGOs that provide abortion counseling and referrals and other things like advocating to decriminalize abortion and then the expansion of abortion services. So that's something that Donald Trump extended beyond NGOs. And if we understand that the NGOs that might be responsible for abortion counseling might also have advocacy or support in other areas, it's possible to make the conclusion that the expansion of the Mexico City policy could hurt Black people. For example, like we could make the argument that, well, we know this, as abortion clinics get restricted and abortion rights get restricted in the States, abortions outside the United States expand. So it's very easy to kind of make the one for one that the expansion of the gag rule could hurt countries that are affected by tuberculosis, countries that are affected by HIV/AIDS, countries that are affected by unsafe abortions. I think like 77% of the abortions in Africa are considered to be or deemed to be unsafe. So it's possible that the expansion of the Mexico City gag rule could be something that if a Black person's advocating for the expansion of that, could be an Uncle Tom, because explicitly, I'm saying explicitly, it's possible. Like,
so how do you feel about this? So I understand that if we are doing things to hurt Black people, inherently for like y'all were saying, like RYYZN and blah blah blah, that's definitely Uncle Tom. But if there's like a difference in values where there's no like true measure of like direct harm, I think it's weird to use those as justifications for when you call Uncle Tom. So there could be somebody that would say like the enterprise of abortion is harmful to Black people, right? So it's a little bit murky to me to use that as an example of like this person is an Uncle Tom as it relates to like abortion rights.
Well, I guess like the point, maybe I can make it a bit cleaner. The point that I was trying to make is that America is the safest country to have an abortion by far, and there are countries and continents like in like Latin America, Africa, that have unsafe abortions, and that we ought to make sure that countries have the ability to bask in the 99% safe abortion rate that America has. And this is in between the years of, I think it's like 2010 to 2014. So like
that's embedded in a
what?
Yeah, that's embedded in a system where you think abortion is good, right? Like you've already made moral leaps, right? And I'm not saying that you can't feel that way. I'm just saying that there could be lots of Black people that feel different.
Like, okay, if we so like, what do you think the alternative is then? Like, if we understand, I'll just use the stat that I laid out and stay within the realms of the statistic. It's somewhere about 75% of women in Africa have unsafe abortions. So what does banning abortion do for those people who do not feel they have the means to care for that child or might have conditions that might lead to the death of that child?
American So you're saying that Wait,
Yeah,
you're saying
because
Wait,
that black
what
women are
what
going to
does this
flee
have to
to
do with like
Africa?
countries in Africa?
Yeah,
I'm trying. I tried to explain
black women
how
are going to
the
fly to
Mexican.
Africa and have unsafe
No,
abortions.
no. Because what that's why I asked you about the Mexico City policy. The Mexico City policy, and I'll lay it out again, is a policy referred to as a global gag rule that blocks federal funding for non-governmental organizations that provide abortion counseling or referrals advocated to discriminate
No,
abortion or expand abortion services. So
I
let's say
un-
you have an organization that supports abortion internationally, and let's say their advocacy is within Africa. The blocking.
yeah, I don't think we use Uncle Tom if we're described like. I think it's like embedded in like American culture, right? Like if
Right, but
we're
I'm
not,
saying that like if there is somebody who is an organization who explicitly is trying to support Black people through abortion advocacy worldwide, and there's a policy in the United States that's blocking that, somebody who says like, "Oh, I avert the suspension of this," as a Black person, I would say is kind of doing some Uncle Tom shit.
I disagree because I don't see how it tracks how you can say, using federal funds, taxpayer money to give it to a non-governmental organization to then go to Africa to then make those abortions more safe in Africa is an Uncle Tom issue. I don't
That's okay.
I don't see how that follows.
Yeah, I mean that's okay if you can't follow it. We'll do something simpler. How about that?
no, I can follow it. I just
Maybe you should
disagree
make
with
your
it,
point
right?
clearer.
The expansion of law enforcement in the United States. What's your stance on expansion of law enforcement in the United States, Coffee?
What's my stance on that?
Yeah. How do you feel about the law? Should they expand?
Law
Should they be
enforcement?
bigger?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, probably
Why?
in Chicago.
Why in Chicago?
Yeah, specifically, I guess like there's literally an area in Chicago where cops are not really patrolling people at all. I think that
So
definitely
is-
should not happen.
So is the problem cop expansion or patrolling?
That's literally the same thing, right? If
Is
they expand their service, then there will be more patrolling.
So so my question is then do you think there should be more cops patrolling those areas, or should there be more cops?
There should be more cops in those areas, yeah.
So more cops in those areas, but not more cops.
Like in general, like in the United States, entire United States, or just
Well, I'm saying in
specific that one
Chicago.
area?
So is the
Yeah,
problem
yeah.
in this place in Chicago more cops, or more cops in certain areas like?
Well, I think
That's
embedded in
comfortable.
that, you would need to know why the patrolling is low, right? I think like you're asking like the secondary question again. Like first, you'd have to know: is the patrolling due to there not being enough people on the force, or not? And then secondarily, you can jump to that and say, well, if you're expanding but you already have enough people, then that's a bad thing, right? But you'd have to understand the dynamics of why they don't patrol in the area that he's talking about. Right?
Sure. What are your thoughts on? I'm trying to think of something that's a little bit more simpler. Do you think the response to the Buffalo shooting was good by the Democrats?
Me? Are you grilling me or somebody else?
Yeah,
I think it was really good. Yeah, I think it was
really good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was good.
What was good about it?
I mean, what was not good? What did they do that was wrong?
I'm asking what they didn't do was wrong. I'm asking why you think it was good.
Because if there was something bad happen, Republicans would complain about it, and I've not heard any Republicans complain about how. Oh, I mean, other than the Democrats that are saying, of course, like we should ban guns or whatever. But I'm sure y'all are for that, right? But
No, I don't think most
I
people.
want gun expansion and then to make my gun stance clear. I want the expansion of permits. I want concealed carry in all 50 states.
Okay.
Regardless of where the location is, by the way, including schools.
Okay. Well, I mean, when you say Democrats, that's like extreme broad point. Like, are you talking about Beto, or are you talking about
Joe
just like Democrats?
Joe Biden's in power. Republicans are not in power.
I think Joe Biden did pretty good. Yeah.
What did he say that was good though? What did they do that was good?
He did not say anything that was wrong.
What did he do? What did he do that was good?
I mean,
Yeah.
if we're gonna be talking about Democrats
Maybe-
overall, like we could talk about like the guy who runs the city, who is like, you know, the historical write-in Democrat candidate, Byron Brown. What did he do for the community in his city that was just shot up and targeted because the gunman knew that they wouldn't be able to defend themselves and he planned all this shit out? What exactly did he do? I'll tell you what he did because I live in a city. Zip! It's taking forever to get that store opened up and it's a fucking food desert. Like, there are bus lines that are like providing free transportation, not even in the heart of the neighborhoods that use that fucking grocery store. Joe Biden may have done his presidential duty of, you know, shedding a tear on camera and saying sorry, but like when it
What
comes
is
to
he
like
supposed to do?
like
Like, what is
bruh,
he supposed
I'm
to
not
do?
the president.
Okay,
That's
why
the-
why
that's
why are
the
y'all
small
complaining
bill
about
about
Joe
it.
Like,
Biden?
Like
What?
I'm not even, but like that's the thing. I just passed
Wait,
it
I was
off
supposed to
on Joe
fight.
Biden.
I was supposed to fight. I want to know what he said. What'd you say? Alex?
Like
So,
Yeah.
didn't they pass like a small bill about it bipartisanly recently about it, like giving
Gun
money?
legislation? What does gun legislation do to stop white supremacy and somebody overtly targeting
We're
a black
not talking
community?
about white supremacy. We're talking
Oh,
about
it's not.
no,
It's not about white
You
supremacy.
take guns
We're-
out of
But
we're-
white
he's talking about it, bro.
hands.
He's bringing
Gotcha.
it up.
Truthfully.
yeah, like I don't know why you brought that up out of nowhere. I thought we were talking
He's talking about the mass shooting that happened in the
Yeah, he
grocery
asked
store.
what the Democrats do good, and I think they addressed the issue. They talked about it. They got some Republicans on board to do a small first steps towards something about gun legislation, like giving money to states to if they want to enact red flag laws, which I think is good. I mean, you know, if there's white supremacists that are acting crazy and we can clearly see them, maybe we should check them real quick and like make sure they're not having guns to kill people. I think
So-
that's a fair assessment.
So if we have a red flag law, and hey, Power, do you remember if that shooter had some type of mental health record?
yeah, I think so. That kid got caught like I think once or twice in school.
What's a
for some
cheater?
Violent shit.
Okay.
What do you mean
What
cheater?
about
What
the
cheater?
what about the
Not
what
the
about
shooter.
Oh, shooter.
the shooter? So I guess the question is how do red flag laws stop white people from going into communities outside of their own and blasting black people? How does a red
Well,
flag do that? Are we saying
think
that
this-
all
it's
I
all
not
think
white
there was
supremacists?
a failure.
Hmm?
I mean, there was, as from what I'm aware, I think it was the Buffalo. It might have been the Uvalde, but is either one or the other. There was lots of red flags that were keep going up, but like the people who are supposed to be mandatory reporters of these types of things, like the teachers and administrators who are here, who heard the guy talk about it, just refused to actually do the paperwork to like send it through and actually get him like.
Sure.
Hold on, Joe. The sad fact is, you're right. It was both of them. In both cases, there's an escalation of noticeable signs that, hey, maybe this guy shouldn't get a gun that ran all the way up to the teachers and shit, and it just wasn't passed. So, like, it goes back to Joe. Like, what exactly do these laws do to prevent this? Like, again, like, one of them happened in New York State, one of the states with, like, the strictest gun laws. So it's like,
Think we just have to close those loopholes and make it mandatory that these mandatory reporters, like police officers, school counselors, school teachers, therapists, doctors, if they see something, they need to say something. That's like what we learned in New York after 9/11. If you see something, say something. I don't think that people should be able to see someone acting crazy or being a white supremacist and then choose to not report that type of shit. I don't think that's
Okay,
I don't
well,
think that's appropriate.
Do you think we can let with this path of like red flag? I guess the question I have is, which is to the topic about Uncle Tom, like, how do we legislate white supremacy out? How do we get rid of it?
You can't get rid of it
Why?
because
Well, I don't think you can do it legislatively, but I think culturally you can try as hard to make as many people not white supremacists as possible.
Okay, so then here's the question I have. The Ku Klux Klan is in double-digit numbers, but why do we still see and so readily, easily be able to see their propaganda in communities?
Because there's splinter groups that are not KKK, but I think there's still different types of white supremacist groups that took the gap when the KKK fell. And I think we have
Interesting.
to go after them. We're going to find them out, call them out, and let them know that just like the KKK, how those pieces of shit were doing crazy shit, we need to talk about these new white supremacist groups and tell them, like, these are just the same as those guys and they're still pieces of shit.
Do you think
I mean,
that's
I
a
think there are more than double digits of white supremacists in the United States. We just gotta, be able to name and shame and call them out. And then red flag laws, hopefully, if we can prove that they're like fucking crazy and criminals and get their guns taken away so they don't shoot people up.
Do you think it's the guns that's it? If I snap my finger right now and took every single white supremacist gun away, every single neo-Nazi's gun away, would they still commit violence?
Yeah, but hopefully there's like law-abiding citizens that can stop them at that point because they're not using
what?
guns. With if they're Second Amendment advocates, probably
their guns.
There was a law-abiding citizen in Buffalo. He got shot. Like, I don't know. Half the time it works. Half the times we get like the Uvaid situation where like them motherfuckers just didn't even go in an unlocked door. So it's like I don't know how to take that argument of like, yo, maybe there's a good citizen. And that's not me being uncharitable and trying to be argumentative. I just don't know.
Obviously not good guys with guns.
I guess the thing is, here's an idea. Here's the thing that I think would combat white supremacy very, very, very quickly. I believe that we should expand the access to the federal government to access citizens' personal interaction online, and those communities that we know explicitly are members that commit crimes publicly. So this could be groups like the Proud Boys, the One Percenters, other neo-Nazi and adjacent organizations. We collaborate with hate group specialists and hate group professionals and people who specialize in white supremacy to create a list. And that list is used explicitly to target people who interact in those internet forums, who interact in those places publicly, and they should be arrested and charged.
So what stops somebody that doesn't use the internet at all, right? And he still hates black people? What stops that person from going to a school and shooting it up? Like
somebody not using the internet at all in this day and age.
I mean, again, my question is,
I mean, if they're a KKK member, I mean, they're probably a rural farmer.
My question is, like, do you support the expansion of the FBI and CIA to overtly target white supremacist groups?
Well, can you answer my question that I asked you?
He's talking. I mean, let's think about a logic.
I didn't hear it.
His question is like, what's not going to stop somebody that doesn't use those things that they're looking at?
I mean, we found people from J6 on grainy cell phone footage and grainy phone footage. We have we have functional traffic cameras on a lot of intersections, especially on the East Coast. We have financial records. We have support records. So I think it's very easy to find people in 2022 without people who like, quote unquote, do not access the internet, because I don't necessarily think that people's ability to not be on the internet is actually that simple. They had to interface some point in the economy and some point in the political process and social process. So like, I'm sure there's like one person who's never had internet access since he was born, but that person has interfaces and interacts with communities, and you can easily catch people through association that you don't have internet access.
Yeah, but you also said that, okay, a way we can do that is if they've committed a crime, we can just pull out their background information and just track them, right?
I'm saying, would you support that? Would you support the expansion of the FBI and CIA to overtly target white supremacists by any means necessary? The same way we did with the communists, the same way we did with the MLs, the same way we did with the socialists.
No,
what you just said
what they did was a bit overreach and wrong.
Why was it? Was it overreaching and wrong because of the ideology, or overreaching and wrong because of the public surveillance of citizens?
I think they went overboard on the public surveillance, and I think they even, I mean, this is hearsay. I'm not sure if it actually came out in the declassified files, but everyone always talks about how they like assassinated like civil rights leaders because they were thought to be secret socialists and trying to do like crazy co-op propaganda and whatnot and things of that nature. Yeah. So I don't think that we should let like the government secretly, clandestinely just big plots to kill people because they don't like them.
They do it though. So
but it's
they
not
do
that
it,
hard.
and I think that's wrong, and I need to stop.
Okay, so that would be.
That'd be a bridge too far, but I think
a bridge too far. Okay.
Yeah, I think if we know.
Hey Joe, what are you arresting these white supremacists for?
We should
what are you, just for being white supremacists, or?
I mean, sure, we can arrest them for being white supremacists.
We'd arrest a lot of black people too.
Yeah,
a lot of black people. Okay, round up those Uncle Toms then. Let's go.
Exactly.
Aren't you? Wait. Aren't you hurting black people?
We don't even have that much space in the prisons.
No. That's not true. That's not true. We have a lot of federal prisons that have a lot of open spaces that we can put these people in.
But more than there is racist people. was a lot more racist people than
it's
I'm
okay
vacancies.
I'm just wanting white
It's okay to
supremacists.
have biases
I
and
just
be a
want white
racist
supremacists.
person.
Bro,
It doesn't
Joe,
mean that
I'm not
discriminate
even gonna.
openly. I just don't think that if you're a violent white supremacist, I think you should be surveilled to make sure you're not attacking people. I wouldn't go so far as that we should.
How do we stop them?
clandestinely
How do we stop them from not
assassinate them.
attacking people, though? How do we make sure the behavior that they're doing is unacceptable? What do we do?
You can't just.
We watch them.
You can't stop
We
them.
watch them, and we stop them from doing crime.
I mean, we can.
No, if
You can
somebody
stop
wants to
them.
kill somebody really
Oh,
answer,
Lord.
they can do it.
The
I mean-
in-depth
You
You can
answer-
prevent that though, Coffee.
You
You institutionalize people that are mentally ill that you think that will cause harm to themselves or others, right? That's basically
Yeah.
the same thing what you're gonna do with white supremacists.
Yeah, Dream,
I
I
mean,
agree with
like-
you. I mean, I think you can prevent them, but I don't think you can actually stop somebody that really wants to do it. And so.
How?
Well,
You're,
yeah,
you
I mean,
just
whoa,
said
whoa,
you,
whoa,
hold
whoa.
on. You just
Time
said
out.
in the
People
same breath
find it.
you can prevent them and you can't stop them. That's a contradiction.
I mean,
brother.
like the in-depth
You-
answer I think that we can give to Joe Lewis's question is like, how do we stop them without like arresting them full core for just being white supremacists?
Institutionalize them.
No, it's not even that. Unfortunately, we live in America where we have a lot of examples of what types of people goes out and commits these mass shootings on schools, grocery stores, churches, and examples. For Joe's, hypothetical CIA organization, double A coup, whatever you want to call it, like, yeah, an answer I would give is like set out some guidelines that cover these bases and then put out your feelers in these white supremacist communities that we all know and hate and talk about. And then when you start seeing motherfuckers post along the same lines, because we have these motherfuckers Reddit threads, we have their manifestos, that's when you start doing all the alarm bell ding ding dings. That's when you start, maybe sending motherfuckers out like, FBI or some shit like that, being like, yo, we want to talk about some shit. Like, we noticed that you're not happy living in America. We noticed that you think immigrants are taking your jobs and that, it's the great white replacement or some shit. Maybe we should do some shit like that. It doesn't have to go expressly from like, just set up this organization to kill them. Like, that's something that could be maybe in the works of like how Joe Lewis's fucking CIA coup would work. I don't know.
I guess the point that I'm trying to make here is because, like, listen, also it's like kind of fun to rile up on a contrarian position and just see how people respond. I understand why Doobie does it. This is toxic as shit. No wonder why he doesn't show his face. I think something that's important is recognizing that maybe the tools that we're using to dismantle white supremacy and the tools that we're doing to actually approach white supremacy might be currently insufficient with what we're currently dealing with. And some people, I'm not saying that anything I said in the past like 20 minutes to I believe, is that some people believe that we need to go a little bit farther than we currently are doing. Like, there are people, like, especially in anti-fascist groups, as we saw with MX Vivian Wolf, who maybe not sure might be in support of making lists of individuals to make sure we understand, like, if you if you're within certain spaces that you probably should be looked into. I'm not quite there yet, but it's definitely clear that there are people who interact in spaces and they have dangerous rhetoric and they have dangerous ideas, and they understand when they enter in the public space, they can't go that far. They can't go as far as saying that, like, they're in full support of segregation. They can't say that. They'll get kicked off the platform. But they might make some, like, arbitrary catering to, well, people are unique and therefore we ought to just be amongst ourselves. And then you get some black people like, yeah, this motherfucker's spitting. And I call that motherfucker who's spitting an Uncle Tom. Because it's very good. Yeah.
A Coffee. So do you agree with because I actually like the line of reasoning Joel used, even in his hypothetical. It actually got me thinking that we institutionalize people that are mentally ill that will cause harm to themselves or to others. Why can't we do that for, like, white supremacists or, like, future school shooters?
I mean, we
Right?
would do that for a lot of them, right? Like, a lot of people that, I mean, that's why hate speech or hate crime is a thing, right? It's to stop people like that.
Well, hold on.
Was the
Hate
hate
speech is not a
statute-
thing. Hate speech is not a thing
Hate
in
speech
America.
is not a
Or,
thing.
okay,
It's
well, I
outside.
guess hate crime is what I meant.
That's a terms of service, hate speech.
Hate crime is something you charge somebody after a crime happened.
Yeah, hate crime
What are
is
you
a
talking about?
modifier to a crime that's committed.
Well, I mean, I
So,
guess I just believe in
wouldn't-
freedom of speech. I mean, like, I
Well, I mean-
No.
believe in the
It's
people.
not
Yeah,
just
wait.
freedom of speech, but just like his speech and what he's saying is an indication of harm to others in the future. Like, man, I really hate these, and like niggas, like I'm about to,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
but a lot. To be honest, though, 90% of the time, whenever people say that, they usually don't even end up going. They don't even end up committing those crimes. It's usually those 10% or 5% that end up
But
committing
I'm saying
those crimes.
the same way we institutionalize somebody that says, man, I really hate myself. I wish I wasn't alive. You're like, hey, we need to put you in an institution, so make sure you're right.
Okay, so here's a question I have. All right, I'm gonna give you artifacts. I'm gonna give you artifacts in this yard, and I want you in this situation, and we can all participate in this. This is a fun exercise. I love it because it's toxic. I love it because it's toxic. So I'm gonna, in this imaginary yard that's your neighbor, I want you to tell me the point when you're gonna call 911. I'm just gonna name things off, and you feel like you're gonna call 911, raise your hand. All right. A cross in their front yard. Burning. You just raise your hand. Raise your hand, okay? A cross in their front yard. A burning cross in their front yard. A sign that says "No more white guilt." A sign that says "Go back to Africa." This is in your front yard. Do you see this in plain view?
Because I'm from Africa. Because they talking to me.
Time out. Can I stop you before you continue, Joe? It's about to make me. I'm not gonna raise my hand simply because I'm not calling the police. I'm just gonna move in the middle of the night. When I see that cross, when I see that burning cross, it's called me calling up my uncle.
Oh, so when he ignites it, when he ignites it, you're like, no, time to move.
No, when I see him putting that big ass wooden cross up across my house, it's gonna be like, you know what? Hey, yo, uncle, bro, let's get the car and like have me move real quick. And I mean,
remember
you ain't gonna call the police and let them know there's a black living across the street, bro. What do you think he's gonna do to me?
The point that I'm trying to make here is that there are some people who we've actually argued with on Primes before, where they said no matter what apparatus they put in their front yard, they would stay in that community no matter what. This is like a year ago argument at this point when we talked about this topic before. So let's say if there was a black person that made that argument that said no matter what, if they even put a sign that said "Kill all darkies" in their front yard, I would preserve their right to say "Kill all darkies" in their front yard. Is that an Uncle Tom?
I think most people are against calls for active violence, right? I think if you're okay with calls of violence on the community, yeah, that's like as bad as it can get for sure.
Yeah.
So it's an intimidation technique.
That's not really a call for violence, is it? Though that's
kill all darkies is not a kill.
I
do you know what kill
means.
Do you think kill is physical
violence?
I think calls to violence have to be more specific. I really do.
Wait. Dream. If somebody had a sign that says "Kill Dream," you don't think that's a call for violence?
That's very specific. So that is a call for violence.
Kill all darkies. What? Oh.
Actually, like
wait.
But I think I'm thinking semantics. I think I'm thinking semantics. So it's
What's the substantive difference?
Right, but Dream.
What's the substantive difference between your neighbor? Yeah, I want to understand what the substantive difference between your neighbor putting "Kill all darkies" and like, well, I guess you're like. Maybe it's because you're fair skinned and you're like, fuck y'all dark niggas. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Yo, Gambit, what the fuck is
my
this
neighbor?
right
Assume it's my neighbor, not your neighbor.
What the fuck is
Imagine
this,
my neighbor puts up a sign that says "Kill all darkies," right?
You're funny.
You would think I feel pretty like upset about that, right?
No, absolutely, and you would be scared. You would think that was scared.
You would think that was a call to violence on my life, right?
I'm just thinking about legally, like in my
therapy by the end of this.
So you think legally this is okay?
No, I'm saying legally because you know how the First Amendment says you can't.
You think the First Amendment allows you to put signs up that says "Kill all darkies" and just broadcast?
I don't. Does it? I don't think it doesn't. Right.
So I mean, I remember that. So I mean,
that's a good point to bring up. Actually, if you're allowed to say "kill all men," I don't see why "kill all black people" wouldn't be allowed.
Right, but I guess the question
I don't think you're allowed to say these things.
I mean, the question I have overtly,
people think it's like not literal.
Right. But I guess the question I have is that if there was a black person who overtly defended the sign "Kill all darkies" in someone's yard and said they're okay with them putting up that sign in their yard, Are
Nah,
they?
you talking about Dream? Why are you talking about Dream?
Yeah, that's
That's
the Uncle
No,
Tom
no.
right there. That's Uncle
Yeah,
Tom.
Y'all
funny.
need to stop with this bad faith.
You're
shit,
funny.
bro. It's chicanerous and disrespectful.
I love my
Funny as
dark
shit,
skin
though.
brothers. It is
Funny
hilarious.
as fuck.
So like,
No,
so
no,
I
no.
think,
It's,
like,
it's definitely wrong to do, and I think nobody should do it. But
It's
in terms
definitely
of like
illegal,
the First
for sure.
Amendment, I don't know.
yeah, it's definitely
I
illegal,
really,
to be clear.
I really don't know if
It's without a question illegal.
I don't know if it is because like
Go do
because
it.
what? Because I don't want to.
Bro, you can't call for violence, bro. You can't just say kill.
But I don't know.
Actually,
if it's
actually,
it's called
Dream-
for violence.
The law's gonna
I really
Dream-
don't know.
Dream,
Wait,
I would
wait.
say, Dream, we are not professionals here, and we are currently in a video game. If you're playing GTA 6 and it's an option to make signs, I say try that on your
No,
save screen in
shut up,
GTA
Joe.
6, and see
Shut
which
up.
Republican and or Ender Nax defends you.
Shut the
Gotcha.
fuck up, Joe.
Okay, but
Can I
but
tweak
here's a
this
good question.
hypothetical
Here's a
little
good
bit?
question though. Like Io really
Sure,
brought
sure.
up a good question. Like if we allow for kill all men,
I don't think that's allowed. Where is this allowed?
It's on Twitter. It's a
I'm
popular
pretty
hashtag.
sure
No,
people
no,
are.
no, no, how dare you? It's
It's
abolish
on
men.
Twitter,
That
bro.
is a different
Wait.
policy prescription with different practices and procedures. Abolish men
wait.
and kill all men are different policy prescriptions.
they're
okay?
Time out, time
I
out,
say
time out,
abolish
time out.
men.
Wait. If we're gonna talk about Joe Lewis's hypothetical of like the neighbor,
Let me bring up
putting
a tweet
the
now.
sign- No, we're not gonna bring up
We can't
tweets and
compare
shit.
that.
We not gonna compare it to some online I don't touch grass.
Yeah,
bullshit.
exactly, bro.
That
Like,
is
that's why.
not what we're gonna do on this.
Oh,
panel,
so
okay?
so
Joe
a
was
tweet
talking-
where millions of people can see it versus a few people, tens on
You
your
know
street
what I-
is
Dream.
less of a call to violence.
Dream.
Wait, Gambit, let me get this. You know what I can do right now to erase the harm from Twitter that it does to my soul? I can click the little X in the fucking right hand of the screen and
You can
exit
also
the
close your
window.
eyes when you're walking by the streets.
No, I fucking can't, nigga.
Yeah, you
Because if I
can.
do that, I'm gonna get hit by a car.
No,
I'm gonna
just
run
walk
into a
on the-
tree.
walk
I've
on the
done this
sidewalk.
before.
No, bro,
Walk
bro,
on
hold
the
on.
sidewalk.
Okay, then just go.
Oh, I gotta
If
pee.
I
This
open-
sucks over here.
Try to reach Dream.
Do this then.
Let me try to reach Dream.
Time out. If I open my door and the dude in front of my house on the other side of the street has a sign that says "Kill all darkies," that is in no way comparable
You
to
gotta do
someone on
this.
Twitter. I gotta do this. Shut the fuck up.
First of all, when you see on Twitter, you already saw it. So all you're doing about the X is saying, "Oh, I don't want to see
Wait.
it again." So you already saw it.
Bro, but that
Wait,
doesn't have the same
Is Dream
impact of
getting
knowing
paid to
there's
do this?
Nah, like that doesn't have the same impact of knowing that there's someone in my neighborhood that's putting out that message that all people like you should die. Twitter is a random cabal of a bunch of niggas from across the world who I don't care about. Y'all are entertainment to me at work on Twitter. That's what you're all. My neighbors, that is someone who can possibly have a direct influence on my life. If they posting some racist shit in real life and they burning crosses like Joe Lewis jumped to for some reason, I may not call the police because personally, I live in a country where I recognize that not only do they not hit white supremacy in those groups as hard as they do leftists, Black Panthers and shit like that, they just ain't gonna take me seriously. So I'm gonna covertly do my own shit to get the fuck out. And that's what I wanted to shift it to. Instead of hiding behind the law, where do you take action? And I mean like non-violent, get the fuck out. Where do you decide like, yo, maybe I should like, you know, hop skippity do the fuck out of here, stay in another place. It's like, how far are you willing to let that go? Because Joe Lewis was going up examples, putting the cross
Let
in
me
the
be
yard and-
clear.
Well, if
Let me
somebody
be clear.
said that,
I personally don't think people should have the right to just say kill darkies and put it on your yard. I personally don't. But I'm talking
Damn,
about
that had to be said. Thank you.
no. I mean, obviously, logically, that's what I was saying. I'm just saying I was being descriptive about the current system as it works right now. I don't know if it's allowed or not. That's all I'm saying. The First Amendment. I don't know. If
I
it
don't
allows it.
care. I don't give a fuck, bro. If it's
Okay,
allowed
cool.
in the First Amendment and someone puts up a sign that says "Kill all the darkies in America," bro, I'm getting the fuck out. Cool. It's your First
That's-
Amendment to say that. It's my
Amen.
First Amendment to move the fuck away.
Absolutely, we're in agreement here.
Oh man, I am so glad that I won't
Joe
be
Lewis
able to-
fucking bailing out of his own hypothetical like a
I'm
bum.
so glad I won't be able to monetize this on YouTube. Thank you so much for killing that.
You're
but
welcome.
We'll get you. We'll get you on the R. Kelly. We'll get you on the R. Kelly.
God bless.
but okay, yeah.
Damn, it's really that easy to be toxic on a panel, huh?
We somehow
Damn.
got from Roe v. Wade and his uncle Tom Clarence
Sorry,
Thomas or
I
whatever.
don't know
the
how
fuck
we
to
got
all the
here.
way to
I really
this.
don't know.
So here's the thing, Prime. I think there's an important message here, and that is to make sure that Black people are gainfully employed for all 12 months of the year. That way, they don't have to go on panels and railroad and derail panels. So I would say a good prescription is that people should subscribe to you, because they see in me the dangers of 2 months of being unemployed and 2 months of unemployment. I've been out of school since Thursday of last week, and look at me, I'm already a radical. So be sure to hit the sub button, because in that way you'll prevent another Black person going down the expansion CIA FBI pipeline.
All I'm gonna say on this issue, and maybe we can get it back on topic, is that like if Clarence Thomas in not the mediocre court, not the okay court, not the court corral, the Supreme Court, he's going to sit up there and make decisions that have impacts on legislations, not just on Black people, but women across the country. And we know how this fucking country runs when it, takes away rights. It targets the marginalized first. And he upholds that system. Well, by golly gee, by the definition we set on this panel, I guess he's a fucking Uncle Tom.
And I mean, Pyro, look at him. Look at him. Has this man ever looked happy in his life? He does not look like he's having fun.
I will tell you one thing about Clarence Thomas. The first time I saw him, this man has carried so much hate in his heart. And I just want to know who hurt him. Who in his life scarred this person so emotionally? He's just like, I'm gonna take it out on everyone.
Background, actually. And I believe he's adopted.
No. It explains everything.
Look. It's interesting. Yeah, I'm because thinking about our buddy Joe Lewis here. No, I'm almost certain that he's adopted, and he has a background like you wouldn't expect with his like Uncle Tom type rulings. He has like this like pro-Black background that you absolutely positively would not expect of him. So like look into Clarence Thomas. There's actually a lot more.
We need to figure out what happened and where like the TVA came in and took our Clarence Thomas, who was based in fucking awesome pilled, and replaced him with like evil Clarence Thomas.
I know what happened.
Fuck everyone.
I know what happened. Okay,
maybe he was a separation list.
I'm gonna tell you what happened. All right, it was a wedding. It was probably the wedding. It was probably a wedding just of a sibling. All right, and since he's adopted, the electric slide played and he didn't know what to do. And then he just started dancing. And then he got clowned. And then he got clowned by every single person in his community. And then the wobble came on and he didn't know what to do.
Wobble baby, wobble baby.
It's not even he didn't know what to do. He was just really offbeat for no reason.
And it's okay. There are plenty of songs and communities that will test your racial identity. For Latino people, it's Suavemente. For Black people, it's house music and pretty much
It's also Suavemente.
It's also Suavemente. For white people, it's Mr. Brightside. But because the bar for dancing for white people is so low, it's just a very clear. It's like a hop. It's a hop of offensive.
It's also Sweet Caroline.
No,
this is very true.
Hey, hold on one second.
Before we get hot skipped on memes, I just want to point out B-More does post a good counter argument to the whole Uncle Tom thing. When you actually read his decision on like one of the recent gun legislations that the Supreme Court ruled on, like he does go in depth in listing all of like the anti-Black fucking gun laws in this country. Does that make him not an Uncle Tom? I don't know. He is well read though. I'm not going to sit here and call him stupid though. Like that's the thing for me. Like he did do that. Reading that bill, reading the decision by the Supreme Court, he laid out a pretty good case why like overturning New York's like, fucking shit is, a good idea. New York's going to hit back with that, but like it was a good case. He laid out all of the reasons why, especially like from the pro-Black stance, and he utilized that to his advantage. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, hey, can I ask a question? Just because I wasn't here at the beginning, does everybody on the panel, what's y'all general opinion on the question about can somebody be Black and conservative and not be an Uncle Tom? Do y'all think like inherent to being conservative is an Uncle Tom, or
every African is an Uncle Tom? If that's your definition,
flip that, send it, cancel this man.
Can we raise our hands? If like Joe did, can you raise your hand if you think just because you're conservative, you're definitely an Uncle Tom?
Don't
Does
do that. He's
anybody
asking
believe
you
that?
to raise your hand if you
Nobody
stupid.
said that. Yeah.
He's asking you to raise your hand if you stupid. That
Oh,
no.
nobody thinks. Okay, good. Oh no, you do think it.
I'm stupid.
Mm.
I was just joking.
No,
with
but
Pyro.
Pyro, I think we
Uh,
can agree that black people are put in like a precarious position in America, so we can have a lot of stances that are like inconsistent with like what liberals believe and what conservatives believe. And I think like just because Democrats pass civil rights, they feel like, yeah, we figure them out, and it's like, have you though? and
No,
then
I
like,
think
yeah.
that's why I'm iffy to say like, yo, all conservative black people are Uncle Toms, because that's just not true. There are people I know personally who are way fucking more conservative than me, but like, goddamn, they still want to uplift this country in some type of way that, at the very least, uplifts black people, and overall uplifts like the majority of Americans. So like, I can't look at these somewhat conservative people and be like, oh, you are an Uncle Tom. Like, nah.
And then what are we basing conservative on? Are we basing conservative on like the observation of like liberalism in America? Not to get too fucking like Black Noam Chomsky here, and well, there's a certain statistical analysis of people in the community. But like, I think it's like if we're basing our conservatism on America, I think it's kind of, I don't know, just kind of does a service to what black people believe. I think because like we're kind of putting a system, like a political system and social process that we didn't really have a say in for considerable chunks of history, and then we had to act surprised that like certain black people feel this way. You know what I mean? It's like if I understand that JLP was a son of a sharecropper, everything he says makes sense. Everything he says makes sense. The overt,
Who's
like
JLP?
supporting,
Jesse Pearson.
yeah.
Before you continue, I'm fact checking myself. He's not adopted, but he had to move in with his grandparents after like his house burned down. Like his father left him, left their family. I'm talking about Clarence Thomas, and then his mother was raising them, but their house burned down. Then he had to move in with their grandparents. I think that's what I was thinking of when he was adopted. But like, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess it's just like, I think that, like black people are kind of put in the position where electorates want, like, the electorate, each party wants the electorate of the minority group. Like Democrats want the blacks, Republicans want the blacks. But then when it's finally like, okay, how do we make sure that like we do good by this electorate? Both parties are kind of fucked it up. And then the only thing that Democrats can hold up, and they hold it up like this really like ugly looking carrot, it's like, well, we gave you guys civil rights, right? And it's like, I mean, yeah, but those people keep stripping it and you don't do anything about it. And it's like, no, but we gave this to you though. And it's like, and you get people who kind of like hop along, like, yeah, this is good. But then you get a lot of black people like, you see this shit? And then you get Twitch streamers like, Phil, vote blue, vote blue.
See, for me, it's not even the shit of like, but we gave it to you. That's insulting. It's the shit where it's like, yes, we did give this to you almost a lifetime ago. However, we have not had power since to actually make sure that it's gonna stay there. Same thing with Roe v. Wade. We actually haven't had power in the 50 years that we had this case to make sure it's gonna be put into law so they can actually do this. We'll just hold it like this carrot that you have to jump for every voting season. Like, oh, make sure you do this. Oh. Like, they've been doing it forever, and it finally fucking caught up with them. Someone else snatched the carrot. I don't know what to say.
And oh, sorry, go for a coffee. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, you said that they didn't have any power to to keep Roe v. Wade to stand, but like if they don't really have that much power, then like why did it take 50 years for Roe v. Wade to be reversed?
No, that's what they're saying. You're pointing out like my point. They keep saying they don't have the power every time it comes along, every election season. Yet it's been 50 fucking years. You know how many seasons of Doctor Who that is, my brother? It's a lot. You know how many Star Wars movies that is? A lot. So when they say, oh, we haven't had the power, you need to do exactly what you just did when you thought you were talking to me and call their bullshit, because you have had the power. You've had since Jimmy fucking Carter. That nigga's 91. So I don't want to hear that they haven't had the power. I want to ask them why they just kept doing this. Like, why did they keep having the carrot?
Like 50 years is the combined age of all of R. Kelly's 5 girlfriends. It's like crazy, bro. It's like so much time. No pedo jokes. All right, got it. Went over the head. I'm sorry.
Okay, anyway,
I'll be better with my comedy.
Yeah, sure. All right. Well, this is sorry. This is super weird. So I just for the remaining amount of time. Okay. So we were talking about conservatives. Conservatives, black conservatives, can absolutely help a white supremacist power structure. I don't think that simply having conservative values equals that like every time, right? Like it depends on how you're conservative. Like you know, in what ways, right? Our friend Fanatic describes himself as a conservative, but I wouldn't call him an Uncle Tom. I don't think he would be. I think if you just talk to him, he specifically is talking about dismantling the white supremacist infrastructure. So it actually matters. Like, so it's not. So this isn't a blanket statement, and I'm sure that people have made statements like that in the past. Actually, I know they have, right? In terms of black conservatives, yeah. But that's not what we're doing here. We're talking about a specific individual who's made specific choices, right? Very public choices that have large-scale ramifications. Clarence Thomas has made black people's lives worse. He's actively done that through his decisions, through his utterances, right? Through the causes that he supports. Hell, like him and his fucking wife, or at least I'll just say his wife, right? Evidence his wife was helping Donald Trump with the January 6th insurrection. And then he protected her. And he protected her in one of his rulings. Like, he is immoral. He is, I think, an overall detriment to society. And if a person like him cannot be called an Uncle Tom, then the word really has no meaning. It has the term like truly means nothing. We can't apply it to a disgusting person like him.
Like, he's not just like some manager at a KFC or like, you know, Supreme Court, not the mediocre court, not the okay court, the Supreme Court. Like, bro, when can I use the word if not for a dude who sits on like the one black guy who sits on the Supreme Court and is just like the angriest dude
How
ever
dare you?
in
There's
my
two now.
life.
How dare you? There's two now.
No, he said dude.
Oh, this is
well. She didn't know how to define those type of things anyway. So
okay.
maybe.
Okay, she knew how to define it. Okay, let's relax. Let's relax.
I'm
In
just saying.
the context of the
I'm not a black
questioning,
woman, but I don't even know what a woman is. Y'all should get disrespectful.
All right. So I do agree. I do agree. She should have just doubled down.
Okay.
Yeah, I do agree. She should have just doubled down and been like, "Why do you think I don't know what a woman is?" And then just made it really weird and just went down that realm of weirdness. But you know, she's trying to secure the seat. She's trying to secure the seat.
I know this is the problem. Well, I don't want to go back.
She should be a piece of shit. She should be a piece of shit and make sure it's explicitly clear in some type of decision that has nothing to do with it. And just be like, let me write this dissent. Like, why? There's nothing to do. I'm just going to write some analogous comparison to women, define women, and then just like, I don't know. I'm being toxic. Sorry.
Okay.
So that's the wildest
I just want to. It seems like we reached the end of this conversation, so.